Delia Death looking for an opening. Not all the way through, but enough to get the point and call the jam. One point on the board for the Black Plague. 2 points on the board for Gangrene. Wine and Moen able to sneak in and grab one.
Gangrene in the lead, 2-1 for Black
Jack
Plague.
Attack looking to hold down the Black Plague scorer as the pack is in the back. Oddly enough, living up to her name, Oopsie Daisy goes down in turn one.
And the Black Plague, Tweak Havoc, Jammer, lead Jammer.
Gangrene still tied up in the pack. Now they've got a pivot break. Tweak is going to be out as your lead as everyone's moving in. Tweak staying in bounds as Booksquirm trying to push Tweak out of bounds.
And we're tied 2-2. It is Indie Zombies game.
See how both of these teams settle into a rhythm as Mind Goblin looks to come around the outside and take lead jam, only to lose it.
Loki Hustlin coming out as lead jammer for Black Plague.
Loki always with that fun footwork coming around. Oh, knocked out of bounds by an actual moose. Avoiding the moose attack on the second time though.
Loki Hustlin slides through all the skaters, kind of like butter, waiting to call off the jam. Now Black Plague is in the lead, 6 to Gangrene's 3.
Fall Risk coming back out to jam for Black Plague. Fist bump with his Gangrene counterpart.
Fall Risk, Black Plague pivot has fallen. That was a fair assessment of the risk.
Arya Snark running into a 2-wall, gets a little help from the inside, pushes that 2-wall out of the way, and is your lead jammer. Gangrene taking lead, jam. Arya Snark out on the floor. Fall Risk active as well. Jaegerin. Oh, Jaegerin not gonna be a baby. Sliding back and forth in front of Arya.
And once again, Fall Risk has fallen down.
Arya now forced to enter behind where she was knocked out of bounds. Oh.
Not only did Fall Risk fall there, but took many skaters down with them.
Good job by Jaegerin, who was working on Arya Snark, not allowing her to jump out and around the pack. Instead, driving her out of bounds and down to the floor in turn 2. Watching the all-gender zombies kind of settle into a rhythm as the teams mix it up. Guest skaters, new skaters, changing lineups.
But a lot of skaters here are brand new to both roller derby and the league, so they're taking a lot of risk tonight.
Gangrene looking to push through. Delia Death wanting that lead jam and is out there. Pivot break taken. The Nacemaker gonna try to track down Delia Death. Delia trying to do a one-legged skate, stay in bounds, but that was not the case. The Nacemaker coming up into the pack as well. One of those things where you do not give up because you never know if you're going to get the chance to get in. And for the Nacemaker, picking up 3 points to Gangrene's 2 points.
Black Plague takes
Good
the
continued
lead
effort.
definitively, 12 to Gangrene's 5.
Jaeger working to be that MVP blocker already, putting a body on Gangrene's jammer for the first portion of the jam. Now Gangrene out with the lead jam. Pivot break, oh!
And to the penalty box.
Luke trying to make something happen, but it was not the thing that he wanted it to happen.
Well, if the goal was a penalty box, then everything happened as it was supposed to.
Yeah, unless Luke just wanted to sit down. That's
It was some fancy skating.
And it's always fun actually to watch the jammers try to block for themselves because sometimes it's really going to pay off.
All right, Black Plague holding on to the lead, 12 to Gangrene 7.
Nacemaker finds an inside track. And the Nacemaker is your lead jammer, lead scorer, Mind Goblin, with a pivot break. As Snapdragon flaps gracefully. Mind Goblin slips to the inside, takes over lead and calls this one.
Are we doing 50-50, Chuck-a-duck?
Yes, 50-50 and Chuck-a-duck. So for those of you watching on Twitch, sorry, you don't get to be part of those.
All right, it's a great time to remind you that Chuck-a-duck is coming, as well as the 50-50 lottery. Both are really great opportunities to support Fountain City Roller Derby.
Black Plague, Captain Wine and Moen, looking to get out as your lead scorer. Swept to the inside, gonna have to reset. Coming through the inside. And finally making out front, we got an actual moose sighting.
Wine and Moen are right behind the actual moose.
Pack slowing down, trying to control the action here as Gangrene looking to open some things up, but Wine and Moen, smart move, finds a seam and calls this one off.
All right, Black Plague definitely in the league. 17, Gangrene's 11. 9 minutes left here in the first quarter.
It's where this shortened time frame for the zombies kind of gets to me until I look at the scoreboard and realize, oh yeah, they're not running the same length of a game. Still not stopping the effort though. As Gangrene gets out with lead. Pivot break taken by Black Plague. Delia Death gonna try to put some points on the board for Gangrene. Delia Death runs into Short Stack. Short Stack tying up that score, allowing Black Plague to move in.
Black Plague jumping up quite a bit. 21-2, Gangrene's 11.
And Short Stack, you got to give a little credit. Well, not a little credit. You got to give a lot of credit.
A little credit.
Because, well, no, I'm just saying, Short Stack just skated a full game for the Deadly Sirens and is now back out there guest skating for the Zombies and putting that same effort in there.
Low-key hustling.
Fancy footwork from Low-key hustling.
Book Squirm, pivot turn jammer, working to keep up.
Oh, Low-key stopped by those green jerseys. Helliot Rage involved in that front wall. As was the Juice.
And Black Plague now at 25, Gangrene's 11. And breaking out, Luke G. Quite some fancy footwork there.
Luke got a good inside jump. Forcing the pivot break with Gangrene. Luke now trying to just kind of power through. Pushes through Parker. Wondering if that's what we're going to see from Luke through the season, since we had the earlier penalty being called on some aggressive jamming, if Luke is just going to make this a hallmark.
Luke seems to be taking a lot of risk, I feel like. And now Black Plague's playing fall risk once again, breaking three and making people fall.
Bodies on the floor in turn one. Fall risk and Delia Death. Gangrene going to be out there with your active scorer lead. Pivot break. Comes from Black Plague. Co-captain Artemis Primal. Artemis Primal, though, stopped by an actual moose. Juice, though, going to call that one off. continued effort. And good work from the juice, because you get in there and realize that once your momentum stops, it is really tough to keep pushing through anybody else in that pack.
And Parker coming out. Lead jammer gonna help tidy up the score between Black Plague and King Green.
Tweak Havoc stuck behind Book Squirm. Gonna force the pivot break.
And Manny Petty over here selling ducks. Manny
Parker
Petty
continuing
with
through, watching
selling
the track.
ducks. Get your ducks right over there. If you're looking to get your ducks in a row, perhaps you can throw them in a row. Manny Petty has ducks for you.
Parker and Wine and Moen, both
All right.
veteran skaters. Parker watching, and called that jam off just as soon as
Look at this. All right,
he
remember,
could have given up some points. So
ducks are a wonderful way to support Fountain City. Check out Manny Petty and get a duck today. We'll be throwing them shortly.
bodies on the floor in turn 3. Up front, Jaegerin goes from blocking to jamming. Active scorer out there in the lead. Jaegerin pushing into the pack, knocked out of bounds. Anita Hirsch over here at the third base coaching spot. Tells Jaegerin to call that jam off.
And Black Plague possibly not lining up. However, they are in the lead, 35 to King Green's 19.
Got a timeout on the floor. While we got that going on, reminder, the party does not stop when Game 3 is done. You can join us. Join Fountain City at Saints Pub and Patio, 220 East Jackson in Independence for the after party. Have fun with your Fountain City skaters. And I'm gonna throw the obligatory promo in there. You can do that, and your best bet is buy some merch so you'll look really cool when you're partying at the after party.
People will be excited to meet the new skater.
Timeout over, and we're getting lined back up. We have a minute 23 on the clock, so this is either the last jam or the next to the last jam. Black Plague with a 35-19 lead. Loki looking for that opening. Both skaters out, both active scorers on the floor. Delia Death keeping Loki hustling, just a little off his game. Oh! Hip block gone bad.
Wow.
Credit where credit's due. That was a lot of fun to watch.
It was.
Usually Loki's got that great footwork, but Delia jumped right out there, got in the way, and just kept him off balance for all the way into turn 3 and then tried to make her move. Final jam, 20 seconds on the game clock. Wine and Moen out there for Black Plague. Mind Goblin out for Gangrene, and it's going to be Mind Goblin jumping out front. Both scorers active on the floor. Under old rules, somebody would just call it off at this point, but fortunately, you gotta score a point now. Oh, Mind Goblin coming in hot, trying to call that one off. Not sure if he was able to pass a skater before Wine and Moen got in, though.
All right. Deficit.
Oh, 20 points more than doable. Just depends on what they're going to do in terms of the blocking on the inside. As Delia Death already trying to get out there and score those points. Gangrene out. Lead, jam, active scorer, Delia Death.
Gangrene coming out strong.
Wine and Moen able to break out and active as well. Delia Death looking, gets the door shut. Manages to come back around. Clears the pack. And gets a call off. Four points picked up on that jam by Gangrene. That is the way to come out of the gate and start cutting into that lead. Loki and the Juice are out as your pivots. Arya Snark. Gem Annihilation wearing the stars. Gem Annihilation looking to take that inside track, and that's, the Juice gonna try to follow, but the door was shut. Luke and Loki just stepped right in front. Black Plague looking to answer that last jam. The Juice finally loose. Gem Annihilation in the pack calls this one off. Luke and Short Stack tied up on the floor. I don't blame Short Stack. If I had just skated an entire game, I'd spend some time on the floor just like lounging about.
Right, no, it's a good time to chill.
But I think that was more just like Short Stack like getting tangled up and falling as opposed to being lazy like myself. Jaeger in with the star for Black Plague.
And Helliot Rage coming in for Gangrene.
Helliot Rage pushed out of bounds, had to come back in.
Whoop.
Jaeger getting tied up by a couple of Gangrene blockers.
Oopsie daisy, fell on the track.
Jaeger comes around and is your lead scorer. Parker with the pivot break. Meanwhile, the pack looking to get everybody in place, and there's going to be a little green baby back there. Parker with the sneak. Jaeger in there calling the jam. Parker looking to pick up as many points as possible. Let's see. And Gangrene comes out with the 4-3 edge on that jam.
And Gangrene has an actual moose, actually, being the jammer.
An actual moose
and
trying
an
to
actual
cut
moose
around.
breaks free.
Loki hustling, great presence, realizing that there was enough of a pack back there, or the referee's saying that there was enough of a pack for Loki to jump. Moose and Loki both into the pack. Little fist bump after the jam's called. And Moose headed to the wrong, over to the wrong bench. I mean, granted, they do switch up at halftime, so.
Black Plague is 49. Gangrene is 32.
Bambi jumped in front of the juice and shut the door briefly. Gangrene out with your active lead scorer. Both scores being held up by Parker. And I couldn't see who else is up there in the front wall, but they were doing a great job. Okay, that was Aria Snark. Both of them doing a good job in defense, putting together a two-wall, denying those scorers. Jaegeren's got the pivot break, but Gangrene gonna call this one. Picking up them points. And Gangrene, who was down by 20 points to start with in this half, has cut that lead now. It's a 49-35 game. 1 point at a time, 3 points at a time. That's how you claw your way back in. A lot of fight from both of these teams out on the floor. Bodies bumping around. Black Plague Jammer goes down. Gem Annihilation back up. We got a split pack. And now Gangrene. Active and out as your lead scorer. Both scorers active on the floor as the pack continues to move. Black Plague trying to do a little bit of a race.
Short stack taking out the competition. Quite impressive for a stack of pancakes.
Gangrene gets 1 point in that, and Short Stack gets a trip to the penalty box.
Apparently, pancakes can go to the penalty box, and there they are.
Nacemaker spun to the inside and to the floor. Oh, Parker.
Some fancy skating from Parker.
Arya Snark holding back the Nacemaker. Nacemaker forced to the outside. And then Helliot Rage with a little punctuation mark on that one. Jack attack on the Nacemaker. Out front we have Parker and Loki. Loki gonna get the better of that exchange as he's able to advance. Through the pack, Parker tied up. Loki picks two. Jack is going to be called for riding for a blocking out of bounds.
Haven't been seen here. All right, Black Plague. Curly at 51, Gangrene 36. Still anybody's game as there's 9 minutes left.
Gem Annihilation, your lead jammer. Oh, Luke. Aggressive sweep. Comes up short. And the juice remains loose.
And no one yells quite like a zombie coach trying to get their players to pack.
Gem Annihilation and Mind Goblin tied up. Gem Annihilation going to be going in for a back block is what it sounded like coming out of that exchange, which allows Gangrene to slip in and pick up the point. Still a 14-point deficit for Gangrene. Both teams just seem to be kind of trading those points off.
Jackie, hold that jammer! Jackie, on your inside! Jackie! That jammer! Not that one! Damn it!
Artemis Primal getting swallowed back up into the pack. Gangrene putting some bodies all around that jammer. Gangrene skater down in turn 1, or turn 4, sorry.
Artemis Primal out as your lead jammer. And an actual Moose is a pivot turn jammer.
2D Ramsey tied up. She was knocked to the floor and now is going to switch over to block. Black Plague doing a good job pushing over to try to get that baby. Good positional blocking in the back of the pack. Low-key hustling part of that one. Short stack knockdown in turn 2 as we've got a lead jam. Active scorer for Gangrene. Wine and Moen with the pivot turn. The Juice getting some good speed. Nice cut through the pack and calling the jam as Wine and Moen coming up to the back of the pack. Good skating on the part of the Juice. All right, that's going to bring 4 points over to Gangrene, and that's going to cut their deficit now to 11. Getting back into this game just a little bit at a time, jam by jam, which is the way you want to do it.
This is starting to be kind of a close game. Black Plague is 52, and Gangrene is 41. Gangrene is starting to catch up.
Delia Death out as your lead. Active scorer on the floor. Parker trying to hold back that pivot break for as long as possible.
And that's Jaegren, who is your pivot break.
Jaegren's been doing a good job. Oh, yeah, you got to get back onto the floor there. Delia unable to call the jam from the inside of the track. But once more, putting another 2 points on the board. Now we got a 9-point game, so it's single digits.
All right, the question is, can Gangrene catch up with the 9-point lead for Black Plague at 52, Gangrene 43?
And once again, I look and I'm seeing that we're under 4 minutes to go. I'm like, no, this game hasn't. It's got a shortened clock, which I think makes it a little more exciting now that I think about it. So I'll just shut up. Two active scorers on the floor.
Jim Annihilation out there.
Both of them preparing. Oh, Luke trying to slip into place, but the cut to the inside. Two to one pickup for Gangrene in that exchange. Gangrene continues to chip away at the lead for Black Plague. Down to 8 points with 2:42 left. Fountain City fans, let's hear it for both of these teams.
Woo.
They are putting on a lot of great derby action here tonight. All gender play as part of our Zombie League. Oh, and that is going to shut down Gangrene for the moment.
And Loki
Their
hustling
score
because
sent to
you're lead,
Sent to the
Jammer.
box. Doesn't really help that Arya Snark was swallowed up by the pack and unable to get out there with the pivot break. It's going to give Loki a chance for a second pass.
Every day, Loki's hustling.
Parker looking to try to shut him out. Artemis Primal, though, in for the help. Get the assistance. Loki hustling with an assist from Artemis Primal there at the end. Makes a second pass. Fountain City fans, look at the clock. 1:13. That means we're probably down to our last jam, if not the next to the last. So, it's all on you. Get loud for these two teams.
Woo! Yeah. All right, our last jam.
Mind Goblin.
And I believe that's Gym Annihilation.
Mind Goblin and Nacemaker with the start. But Mind Goblin, he is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is Gangrene's only hope.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Mind Goblin out active. Wine and Moen out on the floor as well with the pivot break. Clock continues to count down. We're down to 20 seconds as the pack keeps going. 50 seconds on the... Both of them slip on in there. Mind Goblin calls this jam. Skaters having a lot of fun out there. I don't think we're going to necessarily get lined up. No, we are not.
All right. And Black